there's been a significant development as far as COVID-19 testing in the national capital is concerned. The Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has said you no longer need a prescription to get a COVID-19 test in the national capital. This, of course, after the ICMR, the Indian Council for Medical Research, remember, revised the testing guidelines and said testing on demand is now possible. They made way for it. Every state, however, can make their own rules. Delhi leading the way with testing on demand. You no longer need a prescription to get yourself tested in the national capital. So, Kirti Dwivedi joining us on the broadcast with this very significant development. So, Kirti, this will go a long way in enhancing the number of tests that are taking place.
Well, absolutely, Rishika, especially in the national capital where there has been a recent spike in cases. Cases had subsided, but now we've been seeing a spike in cases. And especially these changes in testing, very significant for Delhi, because earlier we've seen several controversies. Earlier we saw the Delhi government had banned 8 private labs in Delhi. The Delhi government at that point had blamed these labs for conducting large number of tests of asymptomatic patients. But now with the Delhi High Court order, it goes in sync with what the ICMR had said earlier, that if there are any people who want to get tested on demand, then the state governments can figure out the modalities and these tests can be conducted. Today, the Delhi High Court was hearing a case by a PIL by a lawyer who wanted the testing facilities in Delhi to improve. And during that hearing, the Delhi High Court has given out this order that if there's anybody in Delhi who wants to get tested on demand, he can just approach the lab and get tested. However, it comes with a big restriction, which is that you need to have an Aadhaar card with the address of Delhi. Now, this can become very, very problematic because Delhi, especially being a state which has a large number of people from states like UP, Bihar, a lot of neighboring states, those people continue to be residents here, but they may not have a document which has an address of Delhi. Earlier, this had been a big controversy when Delhi government had said that only those people should get treated in Delhi's hospitals who are residents of Delhi and have documents with Delhi's address. But then also people had accused the government of bias, and this order again coming in at this point of time, while it gives relaxation on one hand, there's a huge restriction that many people will not be able to fulfill.
Right.
They may not have these documents. So we are still waiting for the Delhi High Court's final order.
Well, that's a very important development that you're actually
government.
reporting on, Sukirti, because while it's a big step for testing on demand, the Delhi government allowing for COVID-19 tests to be conducted without a prescription, that it comes with a rider that Sukirti is just explaining to us, which is essentially that you have to have address proof of being a resident of Delhi. So once again, what happens to people who are coming from outside of Delhi to get treatment? What happens to people who live in NCR? Those are, of course, questions at the moment that need to be answered. Thank you very much, Sukirti, for joining us with all those details.